Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network, a division of the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network. The following program broadcast is an original creation by the broadcast entity. Discussion within the following broadcast should be used for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice or consultation. Before considering application of any broadcast content in the following program, please consult your healthcare provider. If you feel you are having a medical emergency, please contact your local health services for immediate assistance. MS&Me Media and the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network do not guarantee or warrant the accuracy of information in the broadcast to follow. The Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network provisions broadcast services to program hosts. Information discussed in the broadcast does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or goals of the network and are solely those of the show broadcast host. Should you wish to host a broadcast, please visit our website at msmemedia.com and submit a request to become a program host. We thank you for listening to the MS&Me Radio Network. Enjoy the show.
Hello there, this is Kaz Aston talking to you on MS&Me Radio from London in the United Kingdom. Hi, it's great to be back sharing some MS chat with you. We had a wonderful first show, the inaugural show of the MS&Me with Kaz Aston. Went really well actually, so thank you for those that got in touch. And also, it's nice that we can share as we have done across the networks, because this station, of course, as we know, is powered by the multiple sclerosis networks all across the world. We all have access to this online. We all can find out more about this through our MS teams or our doctors or whatever services we might be using to help with our MS. But there are a great variety of different opportunities available in different countries in the world. And we do have to recognise that. It's interesting, I sit on a World MS group. Sorry, I'm trying not to talk too fast because I do get a bit excited. And the producer said, slow it down, Aston. And I'm like, hey, I'm a drag racer. It's very difficult. No, but seriously, I am actually, or have been in the past. But yes, apologies if I don't always talk to you in the right speed, and hopefully the producers can slow down the speed if needed too. But I've got some great news actually. I linked up with my MS team in London last week and spoke to them about the MS&Me radio show I'm doing, and asked them if they'd like to share or support me in some way, and they said, of course, Kaz, we'd love to. So, which is great because we've got a wonderful team of people working at the actually the biggest MS centre in the UK. Well, it was. Don't quote me on that, but just in case it's not anymore. But it was, and treating the most patients with new drug treatments and such like the ones I go for on a monthly basis. But yes, it's great network and sort of headed up by wonderful consultant neurologists, wonderful MS nurses, therapists, people that work in dietetics, nutrition services, and the whole sort of team really. I was going to say the whole shooting match is kind of covered with the MS centre that I go to. But they've offered help, and it's quite nice. There's another friend of mine that's an MS specialist, consultant neurologist based at Stoke Mandeville Hospital, has also stepped up to the plate, Dr. Vic Shamoon, and said, yeah, okay, if you've got some RC expert or RC specialist, he said, questions that come up on the show, please get in touch, Kaz. Let me see if I can help you. Obviously I'm very busy seeing patients, but if there's something that's really important or's come out of the show, then please let me know if you need any more clarity or any more information. I mean, I'm very, very much into sort of the concept of research-based practice about evidence gearing medical care, so we know that we have confidence in the options that we've got available to us. And, basically we need to have that confidence because we might be infusing intravenous drugs into our body or taking tablets or whatever MS therapy you might be taking. But as I said, the most important thing, with all of this is having access to the experts, I feel sometimes, the MS consultants, the MS teams, the therapists, all of the people that can give you that slant on things from a neurological perspective, I suppose. So one can actually look at the facts, look at the latest research. I mean, I'm very much into that because there's so much coming out. I mean, I've just started a paperly daily publication, which I'm putting out for MS research, because there is so much going on in the world, and it's great that it's publicised on the internet so heavily, with press releases, with features, with updates, with research outcomes from universities, from hospitals, from medical experts. All of this information is there, and as this show has been termed, the edge, MS, the edge. We are really sometimes living on the edge because we don't know what the future might hold. I mean, nobody does. But of course, if you're having a relapse, or if something's happening to you, or your MS is active, you've got a bit of pins and needles, or feeling loss, or balance, hiccups, or really bad chronic fatigue. You're on the edge with that sort of side of it. Not just, you're doing things as well that you can do with MS, such as driving super fast cars and having lots of fun and doing really, really, really amazing things to help the world. So, that's important to recognise, I think, too. But the key thing really for me is to let you know that the good old city of London, across the pond for those of you in America and other countries in the world, is, more than happy to share. And I think the whole social media and online agenda is all about sharing. This kind of like sharing and caring thing. I always try to do that. I mean, coming from a medical background myself, I always like to share information that I have confidence in, that's the latest research, which has been backed by a good university, a good research methodology, something that actually gives you confidence when you read the results, that you think, yeah, this has been done properly, and this has been done in a way that's going to get the best results, so it can be reviewed, it can be added to, sometimes, we have a huge amount of information from research trials coming through. So it's great that you have, the updates on this. So I'm sharing that because I think that's important, an evidence-based care and practice and thinking, even just the way you think and the way you deliver services, they really need to be with it, because yes, the customer, the user, whatever you want to call yourself, has high expectations because they want to do the best that they can. We all do for our MS. Depending on what stage of your MS journey you're on, how long you've had it, perhaps could be a way of thinking about that. But, the fact being is you have, this journey, this diagnosis. As I said, I had it probably from about the age of 10, so a long time. I'm not going to give you the figures because that will be talking about my age, and I'm a woman and we don't do that. Not when we get over 18. So, that's the point for the record. Please, if you contact me, don't talk age. No, it's just one of those things, isn't it? We're always in denial, I think, about the fact that we have to get older. But no, we're not. Some people deal with aging gracefully and they just look amazing for it. Actually, sometimes I've found that people even look better for a bit of age. But that's, again, a personal opinion. That's not, limited to anything to do with MS&Me. And I want to make that, I suppose, what's the official title? A disclaimer. I want to share that these are thoughts that are coming out from my personal MS experiences of my life. As a clinical person, working in practice in the community in the United Kingdom, working globally with MS networks, MS services that are headed up by leading consultant neurologists and nurses and therapists and patients and everybody that's involved in this big journey that we have to go on with living with a long-term condition or a chronic disease, however you might refer to MS. I mean, I think that's an interesting debate in itself. How do you describe it? Is it an illness? Is it an affliction? Is it a chronic disease? Is it an incurable long-term condition? I remember when I was working for NHS England a few years ago and we had to look at the long-term conditions agenda. There was a lot of information coming up. This is a few years ago, and we were looking at the way that we were going to shape, the way that we were going to fund, the way that we were going to spread limited resources for healthcare at certain times, because new drug treatments aren't cheap. But fortunately, MS does carry some funding, it did at that point, so the drugs were sort of being linked in. But of course, the health authorities need to commission and buy these medication treatment options if they decide to go that way. So, that's something that of course needs longer term investment, and we need to always keep that message out there, I feel, to get recurrent funding, to get these opportunities, not just once or twice. As I said, I think last week I've had over 100 infusions of my drug. We've had a lot. I've had a lot of this now over a period of years. Once a month, if you do the maths. But the fact of the matter is, we don't want to be worried by, is the money going to be cut? I know some people actually have to fund their own MS treatments, and they won't get any funding. I know particularly from my friends in America, the United States of America, that this sometimes can be difficult. I know from my friends in other international countries that there is no support actually in their local communities. And I've had some terrible stories told to me over the years where people have even been locked up because they weren't welcome, because they couldn't walk properly, or they had a tremor, or they had something that just didn't look normal. I mean, what is normal? But, the fact of the matter is they had a problem with engagement, and they had to look at how they were going to deal with that, and they didn't want to deal with it at that point. They wanted to lock it away and not think about it, because it was MS is a relatively new disease. We know this. It's not been around that long. So effectively, there's not so much research and evidence and historical data about people's experience living with MS, multiple sclerosis, whatever you prefer to call it, a reaction to drug treatments. That's all relatively new, isn't it? PML and various drug complications and difficulties with oral medications for some patients, or, there's a whole load of reasons why things are difficult for people sometimes. And, this is something that we do have to think about, particularly when we're working with our MS teams, to think about what's going to be the most appropriate option for my lifestyle, my treatment, if I'm going to have treatment, which I do always recommend, because when you look at the trajectories even, and the projections, I'll get that round the right way, of how your MS can progress if it's not treated, if it's active, what's going to be happening there. So, by getting your MS disease modifying drugs, by taking whatever therapy that you take, by taking the advice from therapists, by sorting your balance out in your lifestyle, there's a whole range of different opportunities that we have available to us that, are mixed together as well with some of the options which may not be orthodox, complementary therapies. People swear by massage. I mean, I quite like massage. I don't know about you guys, but I do find it's quite good for muscle ache. And I find that, muscle and nerve pain can be quite strenuous on the body. And, we can suffer. I do suffer with that sometimes, and it hurts. And actually treating MS pain can be very difficult, because treating MS nerve pain is tough. There are some brand new treatments that have had great success coming out. I'm trying a new one at the moment, and my doctor said, "Oh yeah, that's very expensive." And I said, "Oh gosh, what do I have to pay for it?" And he said, No. I'm just, and I thought, well, why are you telling me that? Is that meant to make me feel guilty, or is it meant to help with my compliance of actually remembering to take the medication? because that was one of my areas I was very interested in at one point, was the whole idea of compliance. Why do we stick to things? Why do we do it every day? What's the pull to keep going? What is the pull to keep sharing that experience, whether it's once a month, once a week, once a day, whatever. There are lots of different options with MS therapies to do that. So, yeah, what is the pull? What keeps you going? I mean, I do find that quite a big question in my mind sometimes, because for me, it's quite clear. I don't want my MS to be active. I want to manage my lifestyle and get the balance right. So, effectively that will reduce risk of disease progression. So, there's a whole load of things that we think about and different things that we also have to manage in our lives. And of course, personal things, finance, family, fun, children, all of those things that we have in our life. New births, new deaths, new whatever. Things are always changing, aren't they, in some capacity? So, we're always looking and taking these things on and celebrating some of these things too. It's not all negative stuff, is it, that we have to face in our lives? And, there are some really positive stories every day in the press, I have to say. I do like to look at that. And I do like to look at some of the positive things that are being achieved within medical treatments for MS research. As I said earlier, I have an interest in that, because that, I feel personally, for me, in my mind, is actually stepping closer to a cure for MS, which, as I always say, we will get one before I pop off. So I feel that's very positive, and I feel that that's a great opportunity to actually discuss, in life as well, with your MS team, your family, whoever, your carers, your people that are giving you that extra support that you might need. And as I said, sometimes you do need that. Today I had to go to the dentist and I found out I've got TMJ disorder. I mean, I don't know if any of you have TMJ disorder. I mean, I'd never heard of it. And I felt really bad because I'm a medical person. I was like, wow, what is this? And she said, well, the clenching of the jaw and I thought, wow, when I'm having my MS drug treatment, I'm having a needle or a blood test or something shoved into my body, or a drug treatment, infusion, that can be pretty painful sometimes. And I know I do clench I do, because you just sort of think, I need to manage that pain. I need to hold it together, not be emotional, not be weak, stand there and just suffer potential attempts at trying to get a cannula and a Venflon in your arm. All of those things I think are quite tough. So let's not forget that. But again, TMJ disorder, I haven't had time to Google it yet because I've had a really busy day actually. But TMJ disorder is managed by having basically like boxers wear. I've got a mouth guard which has been molded to my teeth, so I put it in, and then it stops me from clenching my jaw, which compresses a dentine in your teeth. Apparently, I've found out, and I've always seemed to have a bit of an issue with that. And I'm so glad that finally, having had to have had dental stuff all of your life, I'm finally glad that there is a way forward with that. So, I'm starting my new mouth guard experience to stop my jaw clenching, which apparently also will reduce nerve type pain for MS. I've had a lot of patients that do clench with pain, with different types of pain experiences. So I think, as I said, apart from the fact when I'm clenching when I'm having a needle shoved in my arm, it is difficult and we have to manage this. So I'll keep you posted on that. And I said to my dentist, well, can we do an interview after it? Because, potentially we can manage the TMJ to a position that's really beneficial. And she said, yeah, absolutely. She said, I've got TMJ. And I went, you're a dentist and you've got TMJ? I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm actually abbreviating that into TMJ, acumen, acumen sort of like, using that jargon talk. But basically, I feel it will be good to find out, because if we can do something, or you can try something that will help with MS pain, I think that's really important. So I feel I have a duty of care to MS&Me Radio and Media to explore the new mouthguard, to see if it has any positive effects, to ask some of the experts what they think about it, because I've got to carry it with me. So I have it in my bag, in this little case, and they'll probably think I'm going to square up for some kind of boxing fight with them. But no, it's a very, very interesting sort of side of life, and I'm very much a researcher. As I was saying earlier, MS research is important for me and you as well. But as I said, the world, that's how I feel about research. But the fact of the matter is, it's good that we're getting more updates on treatments, and we're finding out solutions that, as I've done, I've had my jaw guard, my teeth sort of guard measured and a jaw guard made to actually protect my teeth. So let's watch this space and see what the dentist says after. She said, you've got to do it for about 3 months. So, that's a decent period of time. So, I'm going to be doing that. But also, I'm going to be asking some of the experts that I said I spoke to last week to see if they'd support us on MS&Me Radio and Media with any expert advice, interviews, everyday advice that people have to manage with their MS, and to record some sessions with them that you might find helpful, to maybe want to look at certain areas, to maybe want to discuss certain things. As I said, this sharing and caring, contact me sort of approach is how I feel. It's something that we should be doing, and it's something that I want to do, in life anyway. That's just my character. But I feel that we can really share some helpful advice and tips across the pond. No, but definitely on social media, on our website, on our recordings that we make to share with you. So if you can't make the show, it's great. I found out I've got 2 broadcasts on Sunday. I feel so privileged. I'm like, wow. I'm going to have to get in touch with Jeremy Vine and say, wow, Jeremy, do you want to do an interview for my radio show? He's a top BBC Radio 1 chap. Very nice. He interviewed me about the MS Clear Guide. So, of course, I'm like, wow, thanks, Jeremy. So, as I said, he's very supportive to the MS agenda. But, I think it is important to share all the information that we can and to work with media. And it's a great opportunity that we've got MS&Me Radio. I'm like, wow factored. Of course, in certain respects, I'm expecting America to lead the way. In some things, we've done pretty well over the years, the British and European communities, different countries. Of course, I'm British, so I'm slightly biased to my country and proud of my country. But at the same time, I do have a bit of a global mindset, so I don't just think, I'm not just Team GB, Great Britain. I think about the bigger picture. So, let's remember that, and let's sort of share, and let's get some information that we can, find helpful. And thank you very much for listening. Please get in touch with me on the radio show if you have something to share. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thank you so much. Good night. Take care. Bye-bye.